what makes a buffer more effective than another? Well, the higher the concentration of the acid and weak acid and conjugate base or weak base conjugate acid, the higher the concentration of the acid and acidic and basic component in the buffer, the more effective the buffer will be. And also the closer that they are to one another. So a 1-to-1 buffer is your most effective buffer as well. When you start having way more acid than base or way more base than acid, that's when the effectiveness of the buffer really drops off. So solution A is going to be a more effective buffer than solution B. Here's why. It's 1-to-1. This is well, if we take 0.18 divided by 0.02, this is a 9 parts acid to 1 part base buffer instead of a 1-to-1. And you can see how much more effective it is. Okay, this has a pH of 5 that has an initial pH of 4.05. If I add 0.010 moles of sodium hydroxide to a liter of this buffer, this pH only goes up to 5.09. This one goes up from 4.05 to 4.25. So we had a 0.2 pH unit change. Here we only had a 0.09 pH unit change. That's a 1.8% change in pH, and that's a 5% change in pH. You could see, since this was not 1-to-1, we had a greater percent change in the pH. Ideally, in order to be an effective buffer, your acid and base should not be more than 10 factors apart. Now, this again was a 9-to-1, so it still was okay. It hung in there. When you get to a 10-to-1 ratio, that's when your buffer really isn't going to work hardly at all. It's not going to do a good job resisting changes to pH. Um, how long can a buffer hang in there? Well, a buffer is usually capable of resisting changes to its pH within plus or minus 1 pH unit from its pKa. So, for example, if you made an acetic acid and sodium acetate buffer, the pKa of acetic acid is 4.74. What does that mean? That means an acetic acid sodium acetate buffer is really only going to be effective between 3.74 and 5.74 pH units. It's really only going to be effective in there. Okay, that's where it would be effective. If you tried to get this kind of buffer to buffer a pH below 3.75, it's not really going to be able to do it. It's only effective within plus or minus 1 pH unit from its pKa.